Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to build a list using Anakin Skywalker for Star Wars Armada. His cards and all of the Rapid Reinforcements 2 cards are now uploaded in most of the squad builders that are out there. We're going to be using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder today. If you're not familiar with this site, I'll put a link in the description below so you can check it out. For anybody new here to the channel, I do talk a lot about Star Wars and Star Wars tabletop games. Games like Star Wars Armada, Star Wars X-Wing, Star Wars Legion, Star Wars Shatterpoint, and so on and so forth. I'd love to have you stick around. We're doing a really big giveaway right now for a $165 Amazon gift card, the equivalent of a Star Wars Shatterpoint core set. If you want to have a chance to enter to win that, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. I want to know some of your favorite Jedi or Sith from the Clone Wars. But we're going to go ahead and talk about Anakin Skywalker, who is definitely one of the greatest, at least as far as power level, maybe not in deeds, depending on which way you look. He's certainly had a colorful palette of deeds, but he brings to us some really interesting and controversial mechanics to Star Wars Armada. The coveted triple tap is very heated in its debate right now. I think most people are kind of settling on yes, he can absolutely triple tap and also double salvo, which is crazy. It's unclear if that's going to always remain. But with that rule set in mind right now, that's what we're going with. Now, this may change at some point. So a year from now, we may have new FAQs or errata that change how Anakin Skywalker works. So I want to, for history's sake, point out that this is, recent after Rapid Reinforcements 2, building this list with the assumption that Anakin Skywalker can triple attack if you have double arc, and then you use that free salvo attack as a bonus attack, because salvos have never counted as one of your 2 attacks before anyway, in the past. And also that you can potentially double salvo, since the salvo ability happens after the attack. So if you were to somehow spend a salvo, whether through reactive gunnery or through even a salvo token, that after it's over, you could then after the attack, you could spend a defense token to perform another salvo targeting that enemy ship. I have a feeling that may change at some point, but we're still going to go ahead and build the list with Anakin being overpowered in mind, because I think this will be a strong fleet. Now, there's a lot of triple Venator lists out there for good reason. The Venator is a great ship, so we're going to talk about that. Let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's add a ship to Anakin Skywalker's new fleet. We're going to start with a Venator 2. That's going to be our flagship. We'll go ahead and put Anakin on there. It's going to be a good ship. I'm going to add another Venator also. This one's going to be a Venator 1. They're going to be a little different. I'm going to have some different Venators. But I'm only going to run 2 Venators in this list. I'm not doing a triple Venator build. I think triple Venator is great, but it's not necessarily the only way. And I do have 3 Venators, so it's not that. But one of them is painted in Imperial Gray right now, and maybe I don't want an Imperial Gray Venator in my list. Or maybe I just want to try something a little different. One of the problems with running triple Venator or any triple large ship is there is that tendency that they'll get bumped into each other and not be able to maneuver as well because they have larger bases, and they're not the most maneuverable ship, especially if you're trying to move fast to get in range of shooting. You're at speed 3, you only get that 1 click of yaw on the Venators. So I'm going to go with just 2, but we'll get to the rest of the fleet when we get there. All right, so let's talk about, I'm going to build out the forward ship. The Venator 1 is going to be the ship I'm going to launch forward fastest first. F3, we'll call it F3 Venator 1. He's going forward fastest first. One of the reasons I wanted Venator 1 is for the fleet command. I want to intensify firepower in this fleet. I think intensify firepower is going to be great. If all the shots we're going to getting, it tends to work really good on high activation fleets, but in this case, it'll work well on a low activation because we have so many shots. We have such great shot potential here. So that's going to be good. And one of the things to help us do it, like I'll probably do a concentrate fire first round. I'm going to put Hondo on here so I can get some extra tokens, and they can help me out for a lot of different things. Hondo's going to be very versatile, and he's cheap, and he works out pretty well. And he likes that Anakin's breaking the real rules. He's like, "Whoa, I like what you've done there, Mr. Skywalker. For the right price, I could give you some extra tokens." Yes, very good. So go for the eyes, Boo. Go for the eyes with the concentrate fire. All right. So anyhow, we're going to I love Jim Cummings. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to add some upgrades. We're going to start with the local fire control, as is probably expected for Anakin, and that is there to give us an extra defense token. We trade in the contain for the extra salvo, rather. So we have 2 salvos, so we can salvo when we're attacking, we can salvo when we're defending, we can salvo even more if we really need that. So that much is very, very good. Let's also go ahead and add... what else are we going to add to this thing? I'm not adding another ship just yet. I want to add some more upgrades. I am going to also add... We're going to go with... well, we're going to go with flak guns, because flak guns is one of those upgrades you just have to add for this. He's going to extend your range. He's going to make your flak black damage, which is pretty good. You're going to probably face some Sloane lists. You might face Palpatine a little bit. Those are going to be weaknesses for an Anakin list. Sloane is going to be a weakness. Palpatine is going to be a weakness. It's something that you're just going to have to be prepared to deal with. But yes, we got flak guns there. That's going to be very, very strong in this list. We're also going to put external racks. This ship is going far and fast and furious and first, and we're going to want external racks on this ship to give it some extra little punch once we get really close. For our turbo laser, we're going to go with a DB827 heavy turbo laser. That is going to allow you to change a die to a face with a critical icon. That's going to be good for your red dice. It's going to be good for your black dice, especially. And since you've got things like, you've got rainbow there, and then you'll be able to fire that black dice up to medium range out of your salvo, and then potentially even adding another one, because Anakin lets you add another one. You can throw 2 black dice at medium range. You'll have Intensify Fire. You'll have DB827. You're going to have all kinds of dice changing mechanics. A lot of bad dice mitigation built into this list. It's very, very strong here. We're also going to go with the Venator 1. We're going to go with Tranquility as our title. While defending, because you are going to face some attacks. After the spend defense token step, if you spent fewer than 2 defense tokens, you may move up to 2 shields from one of your hull zones to the defending hull zone. If you do, the number of shields in that zone cannot exceed a maximum of 6. You cannot recover shields while any zone is greater than its maximum shield value. This is for a number of things, but I think it's great on a ship like this that is going to need its defense tokens. This is a little bit of a built-in defense against possible Sloane or Palpatine. Like, if you run out of defense tokens completely, you may spend 0, and you will still have spent fewer than 2. And so this is a way for you to get shields back, and at least shields transferred. So it's getting you some free engineering. It's almost like a free redirect without having to spend the token. You're going to need to spend those brace and redirect tokens if you're attacking Palpatine and things like that. So definitely there's stuff to consider there. And that's a really beefy Venator, though. Really beefy Venator. We've got a lot of upgrades on this one. We got to build out our flagship also. So let's go ahead and do that. A little bit less than the flagship. Now, the reason I have the Venator 2 here, Venator 2 is going to be a little bit more in the back. We've got some blue dice there, so we don't have to get up in their face quite as quickly as the other Venator 1, but this one will still be doing a lot of stuff. So let's start out. We will do with local fire control, as you do with Anakin. I think that's going to be stapled to Anakin. And a lot of these other ones will be also, although there's some room, you don't always have to staple. Because you could easily run, you could run a SFAT with Anakin. I think this is a viable thing to consider with running when running Anakin. Gives you, it gives you a lot. It gives you maybe a stronger triple tap, but at the expense, at certain expenses. It's definitely something worth considering, and I think it's a fun option. But we're not going to do that today. Because I think there's a different build. I think there's different folks that you want to run if you're doing that. We're going to put the flak guns on here. We're also going to put reactive gunnery on this one. Now we have like triple, right? Now we've got like triple boombastic, beautiful stuff. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you might decide that you want this one to be the spearhead and put Anakin back on the Venator 1. You could do that. You've got 3 red dice there. you could do that. The double arc will be stronger on the Venator 2 at long range. The single arc will be stronger on the Venator 1. You can move him to either one, really. It depends on your setup, which one you want to lead the charge. I think they're both viable here. We're also going to put external racks on this Venator 2, and we will also run DB-827s. So in many ways, they're similar. A few minor differences. We have a reactive gunnery up here. We have intensified firepower down here. We're using a tidal Tranquility here. We're not using a tidal up there. But for the most part, these are both going to be triple tap ships. Very high amount of salvoing, and they're going to do really well. We're going to move on to our third ship. I'm going to go with a Acclamator 2 for this one. Acclamator. Acclamator has a couple of different things going on. A stronger front arc potential with the Acclamator 2. It's a cheaper ship. Weaker salvo, though. Weaker salvo, but still stronger front arc potential. This is a ship that doesn't have to worry as much about setting up a double arc, because we're going to give them gunnery team. We're going to give this one gunnery team, and that's going to be, a little bit of a risk. You don't have to do it this way, but I like this one with gunnery team already. We're going to give it swivel mount battery. Swivel mount battery is going to mean we got 3 red and a black out the front for our first attack. Oh, and then we can also do the salvo attack if we want, or we can save the salvo until we're a little closer. This is a ship that can come in maybe sideways or from a different direction, and try and, I think your opponents are going to want to kill Anakin. They're going to want to try and kill your Venators, but maybe they'll take the bait and go for the Acclamator, and you can exploit that by knowing which direction they're going to go, and then pointing your Venators at them, with the double arc in mind. We're also going to put assault proton torpedoes on there, and this way we got that long-range black dice effect that we can certainly do. Now, you can change this up a little bit. If you have more points, you could certainly do other things, like you could put reactive gunnery on the Acclamator 2. You could make that work, so that it could have a little more salvo options. It's not the strongest ship, but it's got a decent front. It's got 4 shields in the front. It does have 7 hull. A little bit weaker of a salvo attack with just the red and the blue, but it's still not a bad salvo attack. Anakin will still give you +1. That'll still be 2, a red and 2 blue. You roll your dice first. Maybe you get the double on the red. I mean, you're still going to have intensify firepower running during the round, possibly, so you'll be able to mitigate one of those dice. It'll still be a good attack, but it's not going to be as strong as the Venator 1 and Venator 2s. You're still going to give it potentially 3 dice, or at least 2 dice at long range, which is something maybe it's worth spending your salvo at that point. But since you're going to be able to take 2 shots out of the front with gunnery team, it does mean you're going to probably be doing concentrate fire an awful lot, which I'm personally fine with. It'll be a fun kind of slight change of pace, and it's going to allow us to do a couple of other things. One of the things it does is it saves us some points. Now we have a little of points left over for a small screen of squadrons. This is going to be, we have some things like Tranquility there as our Palpatine defense to a little bit, right? We have a little bit of stuff to kind of slightly mitigate or delay the really bad effects of not being able to spend certain defense tokens. But we got to have a Sloan defense in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with 4 V-19 Torrents. They've got 5 hull each. They're pretty good. If we run 4 of those, that's going to bring us all the way up to 400 points. So we have some squadrons. We can push squadrons. If we get a squadron command left over Hondo, that's okay too. We can move them around a little bit. We're going to have that flexibility, and hopefully with 20 hull worth of V-19 Torrents, that will hopefully be enough time to buy my big ships enough time to get close and take out the carriers. That's kind of what we want to do. That's the main point here. I think that could work. You could certainly change things up a little bit, throw scatter aces in there or something like that. They're going to be more expensive. You'll have fewer of them and less area that you can cover, but it's an option. It's definitely an option. Let's move on to objectives, because we're at 400 points. We're probably not getting first player with this list. So we have all of our red objectives. I want to talk about using advanced gunnery here. I love the idea of using advanced gunnery. You can put it on one of these Venators, and now you don't even have to set up the side arc shot for that triple tap. You can just go straight at somebody with a Venator 1, I'm right there. Oh, 3 red, 3 black, boom. 3 red, 3 black again, boom. And now a red, a blue, and 2 black, you know, for the, you know, just boom, boom, boom. You're like, that's like basically, the ship's going to die. That ship is going to die. And you've got external rags. And you got intensify firepower. And you get DB 827s for the salvo. You've got everything, right? So I just think that that's kind of fun. Advanced gunnery it's risky, you know, but I think it's fun. It's definitely an option. So I'm looking forward to that. For our yellow, I'm going to go with hyperspace assault. I don't pick this one as often, but we do have an acclimator in there. How beautiful would it be to be able to put this anywhere you want? You're going to have, even if you deploy it as early as possible, you're still getting a huge like deployment advantage. You're going to get to see where the opponent is, and you get to drop some of those V19s a little bit farther out. You know, you can mess with opponents' plans, especially if you do go up against some kind of heavy squadron list or some kind of Sloan-based list. You know, you can potentially drop them in a way that's going to interrupt some plans, or just drop the acclimator, you know, kind of behind. You can wait a little bit, drop the acclimator behind enemy ships. It's just always nasty. You can do fun things. Hyperspace Assault is a fun objective, and hopefully you'll have a good time if you use it. And then the last, I'm going with a safety but a goodie, Solar Corona. I want to see where my opponent's going to be before I deploy my ships, so this way I'm less likely to run over. I'm more likely to get the correct speed, so I can close the gap as soon as possible. You know, and be able to set everybody up so that they don't bump, and also hopefully lose some accuracies, right? Hopefully lose out on some accuracies as people are coming in, because a lot of these ships are just they're gonna need their brace. They're definitely gonna need their brace because they don't have any real defensive potential. They're like no defense, all offense. This fleet. So that's so you know, losing the accuracies might help me actually be able to brace a big attack once or twice during the game. That is the list, folks. I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments, and we'll kind of keep the discussion going. You can also join our Discord. We have a great family-friendly Discord. I'd love to have you guys over there. We have a fleet building section. We can talk about builds. We can talk about lists, and hopefully I get to run this in a battle soon. Want to definitely haven't had the chance to try out Anakin yet. He's coming. He's coming soon. So we'll see. You know, let's play him while we can before they nerf him into oblivion. All right, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. So thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you soon. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. This is the way. So say we all. And party on, dudes.